What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here. This is Legends of Tomorrow, Season 1, Episode 14, River of Time. That ending, though. What a great twist. I've talked about many a twist in all of these TV shows that I review. There are some twists that are just plain stupid. You never would have seen it coming because it was that dumb. Like, Bones is probably the worst perpetrator of these type of twists, where you're thinking about, okay, it could be this person or this person or this person, but there's no way it would be that person. I mean, that would just be way too stupid. And then ultimately it's that person, because it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, you never saw it coming because it's stupid. Another example would be The Happening. You know, the plot twist is the trees. Yeah, that's a dumb twist. Of course I'm not going to know it's the trees because it's so stupid. Why would that even be a thing? There's another type of plot twist where it's very predictable. Like, all of the signs are pointing to it. You know, they're pretty much, they give you an abundance of clues where you're just like, yeah, it's that guy. There are certain lines that the character will say, like, you know, it's so obvious that that character is the bad guy, or something along those lines. You know, not always this character's a bad guy. There are other plot twists involved too, but there's so many clues, so many little hints, so many little, you know, winks and nods at the audience that you're just like, yeah, it's obvious. It's that guy. There's a third type of plot twist where you never would have expected it because it's such a great twist. And it's actually similar to the first one, the stupid twist, except for the fact that this one is actually a good one. It's one that makes sense. You just never expected it because it's the last thing you would expect. And those type of twists are easily the best ones. However, there's a fourth type of plot twist. It's somewhere in between the predictable and the good, or the great plot twist. It's the plot twist that you are able to predict because you have a fairly good amount of clues and you manage to figure it out beforehand. And you're just like, if this is the plot twist, that is a great plot twist. And I've said it before in my other reviews of this show, especially last week after they captured Vandal Savage. I thought, where are they going to go from here? I thought to myself, what if the Time Masters became the bad guys? What if? That would be a great twist. And sure enough, as I'm going through this episode, there's a moment where they figure out that Vandal Savage has tech from 100 years in the future that he was using in the giant robot in the last episode. As soon as they found that out, I thought to myself, okay, the Time Masters would not just let this go. There's no way they wouldn't know that he did this. They know. They know, and they are working with him. I bet all my money. Too bad there's nobody here to actually bet with, because then I would have won a lot of money. But it just made so much sense. I'm like, that's great. And it's like I said, it's a type of plot twist where, yeah, I saw it coming, kind of, but it's because I figured it out. It wasn't way too obvious. It was just a few hints dropped here and there. I'm thinking, okay, you know, I'm following these clues, and then figure it out, and then think to myself, okay, that's a great plot twist. I hope they do it. And they did it. And it's such a great turn of events, and I have no idea what they're going to do now, because it's the Time Masters. Like, how are you going to stop the Time Masters? They can travel through time. It's something that I'm looking forward to see how they're going to do it. But yeah, really, really great twist. I love it. Overall, besides the ending, though, this episode was pretty good. There were a couple moments where it got a little bit cliche, you know, like with Palmer going in, Vandal Savage is talking to him and telling him, you know, oh, she'll never be yours. She was once mine, but then Carter popped into the picture, and you know, she wasn't mine anymore, and the same thing's gonna happen to you. Ultimately, I figured one of them, like he kept talking to all of them. He talked to Sarah and Martin. I know he talked to Palmer. I don't think he talked to another person. He might have, but anyway, I knew one of them was ultimately going to get really upset and then release him. Unfortunately, last week's preview spoiled the fact that he was going to get released at some point. But he ended up getting recaptured, so I didn't know that was going to happen. But I knew somebody was eventually going to accidentally let him out somehow. And so whenever Palmer walks in on Kendra trying to like whispering a love poem to Carter up really close, I'm just like, oh great. Like this whole season, the weakest part of this show has been the Kendra Palmer relationship, and now it's just coming to a head. It's coming to the point of this is the point of their relationship, so that way Ray can get upset because of what she's doing, and Vandal Savage can influence him, and then he breaks into the cell, starts beating him up, and then Vandal Savage is just like, please, chokes him out, uses his fingerprints to open the door, and goes to get Carter. Then they have like a little fight scene, which was pretty well done. Mick Rory and Leonard Snart going up against Vandal Savage. Ray Palmer and Kendra going up against Carter. Kendra's like, I got him, go. He goes to help out Mick and Leonard, and then ultimately they all get beat up. I honestly thought Ray had died because Vandal Savage like grabbed his arm and used his little photon blaster or whatever it is, like right up into his helmet. I'm like, how does that not kill him? Like it's one thing to get shot in the shoulder with a photon blast, but to get shot straight up like that, I'm like, I think in reality he might be dead, but I doubt they're going to kill him that easily. So, but yeah, ultimately it ends up being Rip Hunter steps in, stops Vandal Savage for a second, and then ultimately gets shot trying to save Kendra. And then we have, unfortunately, probably I don't want to say the cheapest way, because they could have done it even cheaper than this, but probably the easiest way to get out of this without being too, stupid with it. Vandal Savage is chokeholding Kendra, calls her by her original name, the name she had in Egypt, and that, I guess, triggers something in Carter's memory. He remembers who he is, and then takes on Vandal Savage. Ultimately gets stabbed, and I thought to myself, so all this time, we've been... the only reason you kept Vandal Savage alive last episode was to save Carter, and then he just gets stabbed and killed. Well, I guess it's time to kill him. And then Kendra, stands up, beats him, and then knocks him out. I'm like, no, go ahead and kill him. Why stop? The whole point of this was to save Carter, and now he's dead. And then Rip Hunter puts his fingers up. He's like, he's still alive. I'm like, how? What? He just got... And then he's still alive. What? Oh, okay. The episode was entertaining enough. I'm willing to let a couple things slide. And ultimately, that is kind of how I feel about the way that whole episode, or not episode, but that whole event ends with Vandal Savage almost escaping. I look back and think, yeah, some of that was kind of cheesy and stupid. The fact that Kendra manages to stop him and Rip Hunter, it's just like, you saved us all. And I'm just like, well, it was a little anticlimactic. All of that stuff, yeah, it was a bit cheesy. But I look at the rest of the episode, and the rest of it is so good and so entertaining that I'm able to look past that. The stuff with Martin and Jax. First of all, you've got this whole story with Rip Hunter going on. None of them really trust him anymore. Sarah's talking to Vandal Savage. He convinces her, he's willing to sacrifice you all to save his family. She talks to Rip, and Rip's just like, yeah, I probably would. And, tells her what happened with Jax, says, I'm worried that I did it because I want to save my family. I did it because of the risk involved. So ultimately, nobody really trusts him. Jax goes to fix the ship, ends up, his organs are aging faster than his body, and his body apparently is going to start aging at some point. So Martin sticks him on the jump ship that travels back to 2016 and just sends him away. One, this means that Mick Rory and Leonard Snart cannot leave, which they were about to. Two, Jack says as he's leaving, if we get separated, you'll die. Which means Martin may have just sacrificed himself. I'm just like, wait, what is going on? It was a very emotional scene. The emotional music was there. You've got Martin just dutifully just saying goodbye, and then has a flashback to his wife and saying goodbye to her before well, not really even saying goodbye, just telling her that he loved her before he left. It was probably the most emotional flashback out of all of them. You had Sarah talking to Nyssa, you had Ray talking to Felicity. That one for me was the most emotional, especially considering he might die after letting Jax go. So I don't know what's going to happen there, but that's kind of a scary thought to think that Martin may be gone now. And then I'm trying to think if there's anything else before that ending. Ultimately, that was kind of the last little moment. Was them sort of realizing, first Leonard and Mick both realizing, hey, you just let our only chance of leaving go. And then Ray was seeing Kendra at about the same time, and so that's where everything sort of goes wrong. But they do end up capturing Vandal Savage, and like I said, they take him before the Time Council, thinking, okay, they're going to help us, and of course they don't, because they're evil. And it's just... I can't think of any better way to have this season end. It not only does it leave the possibility of, well, we can stop Vandal Savage and then just escape the Time Masters and then leave an opening for season 2, maybe. But it also it brings about an even larger villain involved. Because when it's just Vandal Savage, he's just one man. Kendra's already stopped him twice now. All she has to do is just kill him. It's so easy now. And she's even got the weapon to do it. But now that the Time Masters are involved, now that they are helping Vandal Savage, that just makes him an even bigger villain. It makes him an even tougher villain to face. That is a great turn to take. And that is why I'm so excited to see how the season is going to end, because there's so many different ways to take it now. There's so many different ways that they can take this season and end this season. I don't know where it's going to go, and I'm excited to see where it's going. So, as always, loving this show. Loving to see what they're doing. It's a really good show. It is easily my favorite out of the 3 CW DC shows. So anyway, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you thought down in the comments below. If there's anything I missed you want to discuss, let me know. Leave a like and subscribe for more Legends of Tomorrow, and I will see you with the next review. Peace out.